Hey Golf Club, and welcome to a Last Epoch update. I've just been playing a lot of Last Epoch since 0.9 dropped. Prior to that, I was one of the original, or I am one of the original Kickstarters of the game, and I had over 5,000 hours. But that was all 18 months ago. So here we are, 0.9. If you've been following my progress on Last Epoch, you know I have been playing Primalist, a druid, specifically a Swamrblade / werebear form. Primalist. I love the Primalists for life. However, it is bugged. The bug is still there, and if I just log in, there's also an issue that although it says go back to character selection, it actually logs you out, so you have to log in. So please bear with me while I switch between the characters to show you what I've been up to. It takes a bit of time. There we go. So this is my Primalist. Now the idea is we go into werebear form. Let me just bring up the skill trees. There we go. Oh, I've got a skill update on Snake Viper Strike. Cool. So we go into werebear form, and the way I've spec'd this is I came all the way over here first for Barrage of the Swarm. I then came and got Ursine Heart for the extra defences. I've then come down to get Rip and Tear, Dauntless, 1 point in Intimidating Cry, 1 point in Eterra's Renewal, and then 3 points in Invigoration. I'm not quite sure where I'm going to put the remaining points yet. Possibly 1 more point in Invigoration. After that, I really don't know. It's all kind of rough planning. I was following a build guide, but the build guide is not how I want to play, so I've changed some bits. As for Serpent Strike, let me just bring up my... No, where is it? Where is my Last Epoch? Oh, there it is. I've got a spreadsheet with telling me how to spend my points, so I don't keep on having to look. Serpent Strike, we want poison tipped down there. There we go. Right. So, in Swamrblade form, you take a point in Swamrblade form called Viper's Call. However, it does not include the base additional poison chance or increased poison duration from Serpent Strike. Now that is just the base chances. So in Serpent Strike, if we want to be doing the poison to make our Locust Swarm better, we need to stack some poison chance and duration. So we took that first. That was the first point. By the time you get Swamrblade form, I had about 5 or 6 points to immediately spend in the skill. So immediately took Viper's Call. And then we came down and got 2 for Slashing Spiral, 2 Never-Ending Drive, and then 1 for Swarm's Fury. After that, we took 3 in Plague Locusts, finished off Never-Ending Drive, and then came up here to get Bloodlust Swarm, and then we're down for Fever Stings and Grand Colony. After that, again, I'm not sure where I'm going to go with the last few points. Got 2 points left, and then in endgame gear, I'll have another +1. So I've got 3 points potentially to spend, and I just don't know where I'm going to put them yet. Stay tuned for updates. So because of Viper's Call, we then take a skill specialization Serpent Strike. I've taken Cull Point, a Constrictor, and then I've taken 3 points in Musarana, and then I took 1 in Cobra Lunge. However, I'm not sure if this is working. It doesn't seem to be any evidence that this is working because you don't seem to lunge. So that might be a bug, or I might just unspec it. I'm not sure yet. I don't know. So again, we come down for Slither, and then we took Gouging Spear for the bleed chance. So we get Locust Swarm does more damage, and then we've just taken Poison Tipped, to give us the more poison chance. So that's that. We've also taken Summon Spriggan. Now with Summon Spriggan, what we did is immediately come down for Aura of Evasion, just enough points in here, so we put 1 in Aura of Life, 1 in Aura of Loyalty, and then 1 in Aura of Evasion. We put 2 points in Aura of Kingship to come through for Aura of Retribution. We put 2 more points, so 1 in Aura of Life, 1 in Aura of Loyalty, 1 in Aura of Evasion, back to Aura of Life for 2 points there, 2 points in Aura of Kinship, 4 points in Aura of Retribution, and then we came up, we've taken 2 points in Arboreal Vitality, and then 5 points in Warding Bark, and then the rest of the points will go into Arboreal Vitality. This is all buffs down in the bottom right hand section, and then the Vitality and Bark are to keep the Spriggan alive. So you could do that first. You could put the 9 points in here, so the Spriggan is more alive, and then start buffing yourself. Entirely your choice which way you do that. So that's the Spriggan form. That helps us stay alive. And then finally, because in Werebear form we take Intimidating Cry, we then take War Cry. Now in previous videos I couldn't understand why we were taking War Cry, because we're never in human form. We switch between Swamrblade and bear form constantly. The only time we're in human form is when we're just before we change areas in the campaign, so we don't get locked out, and that is due to a bug. In the monoliths we never go in human form unless the skill bar changes due to the bug, and then we accidentally go into human form, at which point we War Cry, and then we try and get back into our rotation. However, because we've taken Intimidating Cry, we now are getting War Cry, so we've buffed War Cry to that effect. First of all, we came through in Staggering Roar, Kinetic Scream, 2 points in Eviscerating Howl, and then we took 1 in Shallow Breath. We don't want people running away. We don't. So the only way to get rid of the fear is to also get rid of the stun and freeze, which is fine. We then took 1 in Hastily Advance, 2 in Energized Charge to get Raging Frenzy. We then come down and took 1 in Juggernaut, 3 points in Breath of a Terror, 1 point in Purging Shout, and then we back to Deep Roar and put 3 points in Deep Roar, 1 more point in Energized Charged. I'm probably going to put 2 more points in Energized Charge and then leave Deep Roar as it is. I'm not sure which way I'm going to do it. That might require some respecking. I may end up putting the 2 points in Deep Roar and then just leaving Energized Charge where it is. I don't know which way it's going to be, because that's going to require me to get the skill to level 20, do some playtesting, and then respec and playtest it that way. But that requires me to be able to play my character, and at the moment I can't. As for the passive points, 20 points in Primalist, 8 points in Natural Attunement, 1 in Primal Strength. I think I put the 1 in Primal Strength first, and then I put 4 points in Natural Attunement to get the 5 in Hunter's Restoration. Then we took 6 in Survival of the Pack, and then we went back and finished off Natural Attunement. That gave us a 20 in Primalist. We unlocked Druid. We went straight into 5 points for Chitinous Plating to unlock Claws of the Forest. We put enough points in Claw of the Forest to open up Focused Wrath. So between these two, we had enough to get Focused Wrath. We put 5 points into Focused Wrath. That opened up Nightshade Fangs. Put loads of points into Nightshade Fangs, which opened up Rancor, and then Fetid Resilience, and then I think actually we did 7 and 7 straight away. I think these went up to 7 and 7 pretty much straight away, and then we did the others. So we currently got 38 points in Druid. After we got 8 of 8 in Fetid Resilience, we switched over to Shaman to get 8 points in Shamanic Infusion, and then we did 12 points in Beastmaster, that's 7 points in Urzine Strength, 5 points in Urzine Strength, 5 points in Boreheart, and then 3 more points into Urzine Strength. So that's where we're at right now. The plan then is to take Tusk Warrior, 2 points into Tusk Warrior, which will then give us enough points to take Porcine Constitution, and then from there we will take 5 points into Boreheart. After that we're going back to our Druid and then finishing off Primal Druid and taking where is it? I've got to find the skill now. 7 points in Primal Shifter, 5 points into Reincarnation, which I can't there, 5 points into Reincarnation, and then 10 points into Hide Skin, and that'll make us level 100. So that's all the skills for this character. Gear wise, gear is okay. We haven't got our end game items at the moment. simply because a lot of them aren't dropping yet. Our helm doesn't drop until level 76. We've got a bone amulet which was brought from the vendor, so it had very low forging potential. We've just stuck some void and necrotic resistance on there just to bring that up. After I got this, I got another item which gave me way more void resistance, so my void resistance is way over cap, whereas my necrotic and poison needs some work. This is our helm at the moment, because I haven't got the better one, because as I said, waiting for the ancestral crown, which doesn't drop until level 76. Same with our body armor. We've got this body armor at the moment. It's not that great. It's got some vitality, attunement, and dodge, but the elemental resist is it's all right, I suppose. But it does have the 36 fizz res on there, which is quite nice, buffing our fizz resistance and keeping us capped on that. Our actual ancestral garb, which is again item level 76, so we just need some more levels for that to start dropping. Onto our belt. This is our belt. It hasn't got the correct rolls on there. The hybrid health is nice. The increased cooldown recovery speed is great. However, the prefixes void damage and chance to find potions are completely irrelevant. I'm hoping to get one so I can add a slot and more HP. That is a rare mob. I have one in my affix store at the moment, but I am waiting for a uber goober belt before I start using that. As for the second prefix, I don't know what I'll do. I just might use all the forging potential on the 3 affixes of cooldown, recovery, hybrid HP, and then the additional potion slot plus more health from potion use. Boots, we are again waiting for a couple more levels so we start getting the Solarum boots drop. They're the ones that have the fire res as an implicit, just to help us out on our res. These boots are okay at the moment, 26% movement speed with implicit cold resist, some attunement, armor and dodge rating. As for our rings, gold rings are the way to go, simply because of the high elemental resist as implicits. This one's pretty good. It's got some endurance threshold, fizz res, fizz damage and attunement. This one's okay. It's got some fire res, low attunement, low strength, and a completely pointless block chance / block effectiveness. I am seriously thinking of switching over to a two-hander, but the shield is quite nice because it gives us some additional chance to get resistances. Now, I haven't had any carapace shields dropped. That is the one that gives you a 75% poison implicit resist, which basically caps us out on our poison resist, which frees up the rest of the resists across the board. It makes gearing a lot easier. It's not the best shield, the BIS shield. It has a higher block chance and higher block effectiveness, but that's it. Whereas the carapace one has got lower block chance, lower block effectiveness, but does have 75% poison resist as an implicit. And seeing some monolith play at high level of powers and corruption on YouTube and from a couple of streams I watch, having a shield that has 75% base chance poison resist, that's going to make gearing so much easier. Relic wise, I should be using a blood catcher which has got a bleed on hit chance for our locust swarm to do more damage. However, I got this exalted one drop, which is the 54% void resist, which is why I'm way above cap on void. Plus we've got some damage over time, which is for our locusts, which is great, plus some health on there as well. And then it's just the damage over time while challenging, which is a completely pointless skill. There is some forging potential on here, and I aim to chaos glyph the increased damage while channeling to see if we can get something a bit more appropriate for our build. Finally, onto the gloves. Sorry, not finally. The gloves are the ones we need, armor and percent endurance. Again, they're just really badly rolled. I picked them up like this and just had enough potential on there to get some elemental resists. At the time I wasn't capped, So I stuck that on there, and yeah, so they're the gloves. They need replacing. We've currently got this battle axe at the moment. I haven't had any Wingari axes drop, which again is bleed chance and bleed duration, all to do with buffing our locust swarm. We've got some bleed chance on here, bleed on here, and chance to bleed with some health on kill, crit chance, and fizz damage. As for my idols, again, I haven't been chasing idols. I'm still leveling up. This will be going to level 70. At that point, I'll see how the build's doing. I really want to push this build as it is, but I don't think it's going to make it. So I may end up either leveling another Primalist. Whee! I love Primalists. Or I may just end up respecking, depending on what builds I find. So I don't know yet. At the moment, the idols we've got now are just some base idols. That's got some vitality and void resist, which is no longer needed. The void resist, not the vitality. We've got chance to bleed here. Poison damage is also nice for the locust swarm. Some dodge and void resist. Dodge, poison resist. Poison resist is why we've got this one. Chance to bleed and void resist. Void health on kill, void resist. Bleed chance, fizz resist. Dodge rating, void resist. Increased health plus max health, which is really nice. And then finally dodge rating and void resist. A lot of void resistance on my idols. Again, this was prior to picking up this relic with the exalted void resist on there. So additionally though, I've not had any idols drop that are actually better than what the ones I've got. I'm very early on in the monolith progression, you can see by my level, and that's purely because of the bug with the shape forms. Let's go on to the other characters I've had a tinker with. And this is a bit I hate. I'm just waiting constantly to log in and out. I just wish it would bring you to actually character select screen and not the login screen. I can only assume that's a bug, and hopefully that'll be fixed so you actually go to the character screen rather than going back to the game. So after I got very frustrated and had quite a large autistic meltdown over the fact that I died in a monolith purely because of the shapeshifting bug, I went and rolled this character. Now this character is based on the popular ice build for rogues that's going around with the bows. So I started playing it, and honestly, rogues or this version of the rogue does not have enough tank. You either have to stutter step all the time, which you can't really do to get in range to be able to see, and then you're not pressing the right button, Scarf. But as you can see, monsters move quite fast towards you. As a ranged character, that's not something you want, specifically in this, because at this low level you have no tank. However, I've watched some high-end monolith gameplay, like a level 80 plus monolith play, and again, people are fighting, or the people I've watched playing this and the YouTube videos I've seen, unless you are very optimized in your gear, you are struggling to stay alive on tank, and I don't like that. I want characters who have got a bit of tank. So this character's failed epically for me. I haven't even got great gear. I haven't even sorted out my gear. Whee! This is how bad it was. So I've got some base gear here that I've just picked up while leveling off the floor. Some of it has been a little bit crafted, but most of it, as you can see, has got quite a lot of forging potential in here. I shouldn't have to spend my hard-earned materials on my low-level gear just to stay alive, when other classes don't have that problem at all. So for me, the rogue just does not have enough tank to be able to, like, defenses at any point to be viable as a character class I would like to play at the moment. I may come back to it and have a look at it later on when I find another build. So probably a dagger build. I used to have a rogue on a dagger build that was really fun and had defenses, so I might see if I've still got that somewhere in my documents or in my offline file. I've not looked at my offline file since 0.9 dropped. I know I've got a couple of characters there from way back when, so I might have go and look at that, or I might see what's online that other content creators have done. So that's those two. Finally, we are currently leveling up a Void Knight. No, it is not a Hammered-in. No, it is not a Smitered-in, because I don't like those gameplay. This build is completely created by me, based on a character from years ago. Now, the idea of this character is your main skill is Erasing Strike as a Void Knight. But however, this character is not spec'd correctly. I've actually run out of gold. I've only got a couple of thousand gold left because I can't farm gold on my Primalist because of the bug. So I'm having to go through the campaign on this character with very little gold. Something I'm not very used to. So the idea behind this particular character class is to run around using lunge to get into combat, hit Erasing Strike, Now, with Erasing Strike and its echoes, you tend to run out of mana quite quickly. So we're using Rive to get our mana back. And then once we've spec'd correctly into Void Knight, we'll be running Abyssal Echoes and Devouring Orb. And that will be our 5 skills. Unfortunately, I miscalculated my skill points and thought I'd do something a bit strange and weird. And now I don't have enough gold to respec. However, I'm only level 37, so I've got plenty of time to fix my mistakes. The idea is that we spec into Sentinel, we take 4 points into Overwhelm, we take 6 points into Juggernaut to open up the 10 points, and we put 5 points into Armorclad. And then we spec into Fearless for the full 7 points. We'll also make 4, 5, 10, 17. Put 3 points into Juggernaut, bringing Juggernaut up to 4. And then that will allow us to get to 20 points. And then we spec 1 more point into Sentinel and get Gladiator. At that point, we move over to Death Knight, and Void Knight, sorry, I keep saying Death Knight. At this point, you can see where my mistake. I put another 9 points in Sentinel and 10 points in Forge Guard. That should have been left. Those 19 points should have been put into Void Knight to unlock Abyssal Echoes and Devouring Orb. Once we've unlocked Devouring Orb at 15 points, we then go back and put 10 points into Forge Guard to get Weapons Master, and then we come back to Sentinel for our other 9 points, which is 4 points in Juggernaut to fill that off, and 5 points into Blade Master. And then we go back to Void Knight and finish the rest of the tree in Void Knight. That's the plan. Unfortunately, as you can see, I messed it up a bit because I was looking at end game paper on the build planner and not actually planning out how to spend my points until I started leveling. And I've got to this point, I'm thinking, well, my DPS is a bit low. Oh, I don't have 2 of my main skills. Whoops. So here I am, stuck leveling a character, a specialization that I can't use because I haven't unlocked Abyssal Speckos or Devouring Orb, so it's been a bit slow progress. Talking of skills, this is what I mean. I've got a skill here. I'm not going to put it in anything because I'm just waiting for Abyssal Echoes to come out. Once we get that, we will then go for Devouring Orb, and at that point we will despecialize Rive, take Devouring Orb if we're not already level 50 by that point. I'm hoping to be level 50 by that point so we can just use all 5 specializations. I agree with some other content creators. I think level 50 for the last specialization is too late. 40 to 45 would be a lot better, because at that point you'd be you know, where am I now? 37. So yeah, actually no, level 50 would be okay, I suppose. I think I'd just prefer it to be open a little bit earlier, but it depends how fast you can get to level 50 and where you are on your passive points. Or not level 50, because you get passive points free from doing quests and stuff. So it depends where you are when you get the 50 passive points. Or is it level 50? I don't know. Anyway, I just think it should be a little 5 to 10 levels earlier. That's what I'm saying. So, as I said, we work on Lunge. It's one of the first skills we get. What I did first was get 2 in Dawn Charge, 1 in Bladestorm. I then got 1 point into Warriors Renewal, got 2 point into Warriors, sorry, 1 point into Warriors Renewal, 2 point into Endless Will, then came down, got 2 points into Initiate's Onslaught, 1 point into Call of the Week, 1 point into Reckless Skirmish, and then the next point will go into Reckless Skirmish, and then the next point will go into Voidbringer. So again, this skill is slightly spec-wrong because we shouldn't be putting 2 points into Warriors Renewal until we get Voidbringer. However, having the 3 points into Warriors Renewal is actually really helpful to get that cooldown. I did spec over into Double Strike, not realizing that it's not 2 charges and then the skill goes into cooldown. It's a charge, cooldown, charge, cooldown, and that's just wrong. In my opinion, if you're going to have more charges, it should be use cooldown, and it's not. It's use cooldown. So I unspec'd out of that very quickly, which is why I've got 3 points in Warriors Renewal and not got Voidbringer yet. Although we don't have Time Rot because of the mistake in not specking Void Knight. So on this particular occasion, it's worked out correctly. Looking into Erasure Strike, we immediately came down for 2 points into Merciful, 2 point into Erasure of the Living, 1 point in Time Loop, and then 1 point in Shattered Continuity. After that, we've taken 1 point in Obliteration, the full 3 point in Absorb the Remains, and then we're coming down for Moments Stolen. From there, we go into Void Pyre somewhere, wherever that is. 1 point into Void Pyre down here, 2 points into Regicide, and then 2 points into Void Lens. That's how we're planning out the Rage Strike. I'm not sure how I'm going to plan out the rest of Lunge yet. Rive at the moment is just, we've come up all the way up for Ripples of Oblivion, and we're coming down for Flurry. I'm not sure where I'm going to go with this yet. This tree is not planned out. And it also depends on when I open up Devouring Orb. I don't really want to de-specialise Rive, but if I have to get open to specialise in Devouring Orb, I will, and then I'll come back to Rive when I get to opening up the 5th respec. This build is completely playing by ear. I have no idea if it's going to work. It's working in the campaign. I've not had any problems at all. I've died a few times purely because I wasn't looking at what I was doing, and one was because of a lag. I lunged, got stuck, hit a Raging Strike, and I died because I was stuck. So that's due to a bug. That's why I'm not playing hardcore. I wouldn't probably play hardcore anyway. I'm not a hardcore person. Anyway, side note. Gear wise, it's just leveling gear, so it's not that great. I tried to increase my mana and just realised there's no point. Erasing Strike will just wipe out your mana, and unless you can get up to about 250 mana, you hit Erasing Strike and you're losing 120 mana. It's that simple. So you can fight it a bit by getting the increased percentage mana, which I may end up doing just to see how that works. We've got this little amulet here I found with some mana regen. Because of the way we've spec'd our tree with Sentinel, in that we've gone Gladiator and Blade Master, we are actually running around with an offhanded sword, chance to bleed, health on melee hit and increased fizz, and our main hand axe. This is the wrong base type. It fell on the floor, and then I just put on the increased fizz damage, and it's worked fine. I need a better one because I'm not stacking bleed at all, so the implicit on this is completely irrelevant. We've got a gold ring here with some necrotic and void. We've got another gold ring over here with some stuff on it. We've got a belt here I forged for the increased mana and void resist. It had the 2 fizz on there already. We've got these boots as well with movement speed again, some fizz and necrotic resistance, and these boots on here that I had some health on. Finally, we've got our relic here. I'm not sure if the melee attack mana cost is actually working. Can't figure that one out. And I whacked some poison resist on there as well because my poison resist was a little bit low. As for our relics, we've got some relics from our stash. Some fizz resist. I'm not really stacking stun chance at all. Just happen to have stun chance on there. Again, void damage. I was going for the void damage. It's got stun chance. This has got some health and chance to gain health when hit. It's ward, whatever. Armor cold resist. Chance to poison is irrelevant. We wanted the void damage. And this is the one I've just picked up. 20% time rot duration, which will help. I'm going to be time rotting a lot when I get there. But it's got 75 health on it, which is amazing. And this just dropped on the floor in the campaign. So that's the Void Knight class. I'm going to be playing this one a lot to see if I can make it work. It used to work years ago, but I don't know if it's going to yet now. I might try and find the video from all way back when. Obviously the skills have changed, the passive have changed, and the way the game loop plays has also changed. But it'll give me an idea of how the skills were spec'd back then and make sure I'm kind of following the ish right path. Hopefully you've enjoyed this little update video. I will be doing my Path of Exile weekly update in the next coming days. Looking forward to the D4 beta this weekend. I will be doing that. I will also be putting out some videos about D4 as well. Like a lot of content creators, I will probably be looking at running Path of Exile as my main game, with Last Epoch very closely second, and then D4 in there somewhere depending on how it goes. I have kind of stopped playing Battle Brothers now. I just got to the point where it seemed a bit pointless playing that. I play Frostpunk a lot, Frostpunk 1, desperately waiting for Frostpunk 2 to come out. Hopefully 11-bit studios will bring that out. They've brought some out other games. I can only assume the pandemic played around with their schedule, or it's just been delayed because they're getting the other games out first. Either way, we're looking forward to Frostpunk 2 when that finally releases. We've got a lot of games coming out this year. I'm saving up for what's it called? I can't remember the game. Mind blank. Hold on, let me just open my Steam. Where is my Steam? Go away, get out of the way, Windows. There it is. Opened up on another screen. Where is my wish list? There it is. Baldur's Gate 3. I am saving up for Baldur's Gate 3. That looks really great. I want to play that. Hopefully that'll be a good game. I'm also waiting for 11-bit Studios Thaumaturge game. That looks to be coming out at some point as well. That looks pretty good. And I've got yeah, so they're the 2 games I'm looking forward. 3 games: Frostpunk 3, Frostpunk 2, Baldur's Gate 3, and the Thaumaturge, along with some D4 beta action. That's the plans. I hope you'll stick around on the channel. If you like what I do, please subscribe. I don't make any money from this. I can't. I am medically retired, and because the government has medically retired me, I am on state funds. I cannot earn any IRL money from my YouTube because it will severely hamper my state funds. So this is all done casually and for fun. However, subscribing and liking does make a difference. Thanks very much for your support. I hope to be doing some live streams over the next few days, but my live streams are dependent on my mental health and my IRL responsibilities. I am a carer for disabled family members, so those 2 must become priority, not in any particular order: my caring ability, my caring role, and my mental health. Thanks for everything. I have received some supportive messages, so it's really nice to know that there are people out there watching my videos, liking my content. Yeah, just wanted to say that at the end. Thanks very much, everyone. See you in the next one.